Welcome back. I'm Curtis Smith. Dr. Barrett Leinauer is showing us the cool season plots here at the Tucumcari Agricultural Science Center. Some interesting grasses here among the cool season grasses.
Yeah, Curtis, we are on the cool season grasses here, grasses that grow actively during this time of the year. We are last week of April, so that's just the right temperatures for those grasses. However, to keep them green as they are and to get them green as they are right now, they have to be watered occasionally also during the winter.
Okay, and I notice you've got a lot here. I like this one right here that's very fine.
Yeah, Curtis, this is a fine fescue, and it's one of the finest turf grasses that we have available. And this cultivar especially, called Dawson, it's also very salt tolerant. So that can become an issue when you are on low quality water or irrigation water that is high in salts. So is this grass over here, which is Alkali Grass. The cultivar name is Fultz, and this one is also a very salt-tolerant cool season grass. Those two grasses, this Alkali Grass and also the Dawson Fine Fescue, are probably the two most salt-tolerant cool season grasses that we have.
Pretty good where you're using effluent water.
Correct, they're good for effluent water, and however, their salt tolerance is not as high as the seashore paspalum that we talked about earlier. However, for cool season grasses, those two do really a fine job.
Okay, we've got another one here right next to them.
Yeah, this one is the tall fescue again. We also looked at tall fescue with the warm season grasses. Again, grass number one in New Mexico when it comes to homeowner use. It is a little bit coarser texture than the fine fescue. It's a grass that is drought tolerant. However, to keep it at a level like this here, very dense, uniform, and dark green, it also needs to be watered. Especially down south in the Las Cruces area or south of Socorro, that is a high water use grass when you want to keep it at that level.
Needs water everywhere, but more in the south.
More in the south, definitely.
Barrett, this is really a dark green, fine textured grass.
Curtis, this is Perennial Ryegrass, a grass that's down south used for overseeding into the warm season grasses in the winter so that those turf areas stay green all year long. Now, this is the time of the year where Perennial Ryegrass does really well and looks probably as pretty as it gets in New Mexico. Now, with the summer heat picking up, that will definitely lose color and then kind of fade out. It doesn't take the heat very well.
How about the cold?
Also the cold. Perennial rye, also of the cool season grasses, even though it is a cool season grass, it can be hurt by really low temperatures and the freezing of the soil. Can hurt Perennial Ryegrass.
Okay, right next to it we've got another one here. It's a little more yellow right now.
Yeah, this is again the Texas Bluegrass that we mentioned earlier, which is a cross between Poe arachnifera, one bluegrass species, and Kentucky bluegrass. So it's not a true bluegrass the way we understand bluegrass or the way we know bluegrasses. The difference in color is probably due to fertilization, and that color difference can probably managed by just adding some fertilizer.
Okay, and right next to it we've got another grass. It's even a different shade of green.
Yeah, this is also a little bit lighter green. It's called Poe supina or supina bluegrass, a grass that comes over from Europe. It is the grass that, as we know right now, takes the lowest light intensity and still grows.
Shade grass then.
It is very shade tolerant, and it's also traffic tolerant. So that's why this grass is used in stadiums, soccer stadiums, football stadiums, where they're completely covered, or at least the bleachers going that high that not much sunlight reaches the field.
Okay, we still haven't seen Kentucky bluegrass. Well, Barrett, this one looks like bluegrass.
Curtis, this is Kentucky bluegrass, a very high maintenance grass. It does take a lot of wear, a lot of traffic. You can put on a lot of abuse to it. However, it's one of the high maintenance grasses that we have. It requires nutrients. It requires a lot of irrigation water. So I only recommend this grass for a few locations in New Mexico, high altitude, high precipitation locations. Otherwise, people don't have the resources to maintain it accordingly.
Okay, and we've got one more cool season grass to look at, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Barrett, this is another very fine textured grass. What is this?
This is again Crested Hare grass or turtle turf, a grass that we already looked at in the warm season grasses. And it also shows you, Curtis, what a little bit of water can do to the grass. Here, this plot got water through the winter, only occasionally, but still. And you see a major difference. Really nice color, very fine textured, very uniform compared to the turtle turf and the warm season grasses, where it hardly grew at all during the winter, and because it received no water.
Okay. Barrett, we've learned a lot about warm season and cool season grass today, and that's really important for New Mexico. They're right places for different kinds of grasses, and the work you're doing here is really important for the state of New Mexico, so we want to thank you for it very much.
Thank you, Curtis.
And look at this grass, how nice it is. There, there's a purpose we haven't talked about, and I'm going to show you what the use of this grass is. Oh, yes, yes, yes. This is nice.